Hello, and welcome to my Fire Emblem 9 Path of Radiance 100% gross low turn count playthrough. I'm your host Typhoon Carter, and today I have VisciousSal back with me for another round of commentary.
Yeah, nice to be here. Still slightly out of my comfort zone, but it's going well. I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah, so we got Chapter 11 here, and there's going to be a fair bit that we're going to need to do here.
I can see a lot of 2 range being bought already. Going to see the anime phase of this game.
Yeah, it's quite long sometimes. Surprisingly, it's not all the time, but this is only localized version.
Well, you told me a little bit already, and I'm really looking forward to some spectacular use that one unit is going to provide this chapter.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it yet, but I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah. So the main thing that's going to occur for this upcoming chapter is that it's an arrive objective, but the thing is we have to wait for a certain Wyvern Rider to show up in order to recruit her next chapter. So we're going to have to wait around a little bit, so we're not in a big rush yet.
Yeah, we've got plenty of time to just play around, have some fun with the enemies, see what's up in this nice town where nobody is racist at all.
Totally, and there are also some vigilantes that are on this map, and one of the townspeople gives us a Lagoose Slayer, which is not really indicative of how the town that the party is in is like at all whatsoever.
Nah, he's just an outlier.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe they just got to protect themselves sometimes. But a bunch of enemies show up. They basically occupy the town, more or less. Now, one of the things here on this map is that there are some kind of weak enemies that are called vigilantes on here, and if we can leave any of them alive, or rather the amount that we leave alive will net us some bonus XP. And
Yeah,
normally in normal mode and like easy mode, like all the vigilantes are just on like the right side of the map, but there are also some on the bottom left side.
Yeah, those were new to me. I actually completely forgot about those.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Ike did not get himself hit there, as we are going to need some of our units to get hit on purpose, for the purposes of staff grinding.
Yeah, that's where Mia comes in. She's going to provide a crucial role this chapter by being a punching bag for the enemy, so that Soren can grind his staff rank on her, which does not sound inappropriate at all. But as you can see, she already gets 2 hit KO'd by the soldiers. So things are looking well for her today.
Yeah, and we gotta make sure we shield Mia somewhat, and we don't shield Mist at all, because Mist can actually take a hit, surprisingly.
Yeah, Mist good. Just wait till she gets her pony.
Yeah. So here we're having Oscar, Titania, and like Marcia basically bum rush towards the arrive point, although we kind of have to slow down a little bit, per se. The other gimmick of this map is that the village is here. If you visit any of them with Lef or Mordecai, you will not get your item that the village normally gives.
No, luckily they still leave the door open, so a friendly Bjork can still walk in, which is going to be really helpful.
Yeah.
And of course, there's one more thing, since we're talking about houses. There's one house in particular that we don't want to go visit all that quickly, and it's also why we have to take a little bit of our time to not immediately grab the boss's attention.
Yeah. And the boss Makoya is the first promoted, or rather the first paladin that we see as an enemy, and the interesting thing about paladins is that they have a multitude of weapon combinations that they can wield. Makoya here, on this map, he is able to wield swords and bows.
Yeah, it's actually a combination you don't really get to see that often on your own units, because Astrid is pretty much the only one. No, sorry, Makalov, of course, also can get them, but they usually tend to take axes.
Yeah. Or lances if you want to be a little bit different, but even then.
And of course, since we also have 2 really threatening units coming up from Marcia, you'll see in a moment, Wind Magic is going to have a devastating effect on her, where its might is going to do effective damage, and it's going to go from 1 to 2 might for the tome. So be careful. Can't be careful enough with all those flying enemies that get taken down by the Wind Magic.
Yeah, what a shocker. It's truly ended many casual runs before, I assure you.
Yes, definitely. And here we see, sadly, to get full recruitment, Leth has to go towards Zihark, who's up in the right eastern corner. And the Vigilantes see Lugu, so they decide to suicide on her, which is going to be detrimental to our bonus experience. But oh well.
Yeah, it's only like 25 bonus XP per Vigilante that we leave alive. And for like most players, it's really not worth the hassle.
No, I tend to not even think about them all that much. It's that you said at the start that there's one Vigilante going to stay alive, but the fighter in the southwestern corner, I just didn't really realize he was a Vigilante at all, so...
Yeah, it's one of the really weird differences that they make between the difficulty modes.
Yeah, it's slightly similar to when you see in part 3, where you have of Radiant Dawn, where you see the Benyon army and the Crimean army, where you can see still some tier 1 enemies to showcase the difference between how strong the Benyon army and the Crimean army are.
Yeah.
It is thematic.
I did have a small brain fart there where I was supposed to heal Ike before he got hit, but we have enough healing targets to go around for it to not matter too much. At least for now, anyways. As we once again have Mia getting hit on purpose.
Yeah, all these soldiers are providing very useful damage so that Soren and Mist can get some EXP, which is going to save a little bit of bonus experience, but mostly, of course, staff rank, because you want to hit some benchmarks for later in the game.
Yeah, it is. I still find it funny, like I've mentioned this before, how like Mend and Heal actually give the exact same amount of weapon experience.
Yeah, that shouldn't... That just sounds wrong somehow.
Yeah, although like normally, because like in the GBA games, it's like Men naturally gives more weapon experience than Heal does, but for some reason here they both give free. And staff grinding in Path of Radiance is a lot more generous compared to like some of the other titles in the series.
Yeah, what was it? Fire Emblem 6 with its tremendous staff grinding?
Yeah, I think it gives like, everything gives like, what was it, 1 or 2 weapon experience?
Yeah, it's very tedious.
Yeah, although in Path of Radiance, the one underrated aspect, or rather overlooked aspect that people don't really bring up too often is how slow it is to actually grind weapon ranks out.
Yeah, and we just saw, of course, that Zihark got recruited. He went up to the village because Leth can't visit it. We got a nice killer lance, and meanwhile, we also had Kieran in the bottom, who's not yet in his Ponage incarnate form for competing with Ike.
Yeah, for the title of the most Ponage incarnate unit ever.
Yeah, those were fun times, good discussions.
Yeah,
but he's
exhilarating.
He's quite good though. He's a good cavalier. Of course, axes are very strong in this game.
Yeah.
And he starts out with those.
I believe if you actually Master Seal Kieran right off the bat, his bases are basically that of a base Titania, funnily enough.
And that's still pretty good. even 0% growth Titania gets used quite a bit in this chapter.
Yeah. And since there's like a lot of dead time, the other 2 units that we didn't bring here from that were freed from last chapter, Nephany and Braum. Braum is like your stereotypical really bad armor knight who is slow and can't really do all that great.
No, he won't get to the front lines.
Yeah. Nephany was like the first playable soldier in the series. And Nephany's main gimmick is the fact that I believe it's that she has Wrath.
Yeah.
And Wrath increases crit by 50% when below half health. So that's like a neat perk that she has going for her if players like do use her. And there are some funny like vantage strats that vantage Wrath strats that players might do with Nephany. Although I think there was like a TAS run that actually uses that in like 1 chapter to like pretty good effect.
Oh, I didn't even know that. She also, of course, might be able to use Resolve. I don't know from the top of my head if she has the capacity for that, but she is quite a popular character, mainly because she was one of the first playable soldiers, or even the first, as you said, and she has, of course, a cool design, but she also has the 0 to hero because she starts quite low in the bases, and she also has E rank lances.
Yeah.
So it's really satisfying to train her, and then seeing those big crits come online later in the game.
Yeah, for sure. And here we're going to get ready to engage Makoya for next turn, because the one main gimmick, or one of many gimmicks of this chapter, is that when Makoya is attacked, or when Makoya attacks the player, the Black Knight will show up the following turn by coming out of the house. It is the second instance where we see same turn reinforcements in a game where same turn reinforcements are usually not all that common.
Yeah, you don't want to be in his range. Like, he only moves 2 spaces when there's no one in his range, but he does move his full move if he can, and attack someone. And he'll kill someone.
He also has 1 to 2 range, so there's also that. Although I think like Mordecai, like when he's transformed, can take a hit, but I don't think he can survive like not getting one-rounded by him.
I believe so. Like, he's a scary unit to face, but we don't have to be near the house, so it's all good.
Yeah, which is why we avoided taking that middle route through the houses when we're playing this map. Now, if we don't engage Makoya, then the Black Knight would have showed up on like turn 6, but by that point we would have already left the map.
Yeah, we only have to wait until turn 5 because Jill is quite slow in her hot-headedness, but apparently Har is still able to keep her under control just a little bit. But she'll show up, and then we'll have a nice new unit that can be talked about next chapter.
Yeah. And here, Makoya, he's using a sword, mostly because we had Titania equipped on Axe. And Titania missed 1, but it doesn't really matter, as the kill on Makoya is pretty chill. There's nothing like too demanding to like kill Makoya off. He doesn't have like particularly threatening stats, per se, especially for a pre-promoted unit.
No, I believe he might have a skill, but that's just from my own memory, and don't quote me on that. But it's still not threatening at all.
Yep, absolutely.
No, and it's also really nice, this map, we haven't even talked about it yet, but you may have seen that Ike is just hanging back, because it's an arrive map, and anyone can go to the arrive point. It doesn't really matter who lands on the square.
Yeah, it was much like Chapter 6 in that regard. And then here, I had a bit of a brain fart and visit with Mordecai by accident.
Whoops.
Yeah, because at first I was hoping, oh hey, maybe Mia can get hit, and then I realized that was not happening. And Ike, Lloyd, they're still kind of chilling back here because like reinforcements gonna show up, so we're gonna have more units that can get hurt, or rather that can hurt our units for the purposes of grinding.
Yeah, and you can see the nice heal chain by having Mist level up and then having Soren heal Mist again, because we're of course ensured a HP level up because of the 100% growths.
Yeah.
Now we just go forward, clear a path, and then next turn we'll have units ready to arrive.
Yeah. And then here Kieran is still not quite himself. You might have noticed that he actually has a command called Gamble, but Gamble is a terrible skill. Because,
yeah, never use it.
Yeah, so basically what Gamble does is it doubles like whatever crit rate you have, and then but it cuts your hit in half in exchange for that.
Yeah, and the worst part is it cuts your hit rate, I believe, in half. That is displayed during the combat forecast, not your actual hit rate. So
yeah.
You might have a really high skill archer with a really accurate bow forge that has like 180 hits, but that would be displayed as 100 hits in the combat forecast. So in Gamble terms, it would still go down to 50, if I recall correctly. But
yeah,
that might be me being wrong, but I recall that.
Mm-hmm. And here Oscar's just getting some nice experience. Oscar, Kieran, they both have a support that they can build up, so that will definitely have its uses at a handful of times, although it's not gonna be the most notable thing ever.
And I was just wondering, since you used a steel axe for Titania, I assume you need to have the hammer ready for some matchups later on.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you would probably just one-round this guy, even with double effectiveness.
Yeah, there's like some of the later route maps, the armors, by the point of that game, they're like extremely bulky.
Yeah, that makes sense, since you have the time here, so you don't need to hurry up, and you can just use a steel axe.
Yeah.
So now we visit the house correctly, though, with Mia.
Yeah, but we have to make sure Mordecai's not in the way. And then some Wyvern Riders just showed up, so that's just another opportunity for us to get some Staffy XP in. And here, the other reason we had Titania use a Steel Axe was to set up a kill for Marcia, who is now level 12. That Draco Shield, it's another nice stat booster. Here we have Ike. I was hoping Ike would get hit by this Wyvern Rider, but then he somehow missed a 77. And around this point, I was kind of scrambling, trying to salvage this because I really needed at least one of them to get hit.
Well, the RNG gods were in your favor today.
They give and they take.
Now we get a nice last heal on Soren.
Yeah, unfortunately we couldn't get one on Miss, but like you can't win them all. And by the point here, I was just like double checking to see like if there's where that I needed to go or anything else I needed to do. So I decided to give Volk this kill on this priest.
Poor guy.
Yeah. They'll just call him a martyr, probably. Anyway, so this is chapter 11 cleared in 5 turns as Oscar boots it out of here.
Well done, well done.
I will see you guys next time for chapter 12.